Good morning, everyone. Let's just do a few more rows here as a late morning break. You probably can't hear it in the camera, but the wind is howling out there again today. This is really a heavy wind period. It almost reminds me of the time I spent in Australia. I remember the winds like this there. My goodness, they would just blow and blow and blow day after day, and we're kind of getting some of that here. But what do you do? Any little loose limbs and things will certainly come down in this. Okay. Here we are. Just toddling along here on this scarf. And remember, part of the great thing about crochet, I always remember this, is that it's not that you're necessarily trying to rush to get something done. I mean, occasionally that happens if you've got a gift due for someone or something like that. But basically, excuse me, it's the action itself. Just the repeated action itself. And the light focus that it gives your mind. I have something wrong with that one. Wait a minute. I think I dropped apply there. Let's do that one over. That's what I mean by the light focus. It gives your mind. You know, you just... well, look at that. There it is again. Okay, let's pay attention to this for a moment. It's this light focus, as I say, so let's give it the focus. Here we are, here we are. There we go, that feels better. Yeah, so I came in out of that wind this morning. It was almost as bad as the other day when we were in the car driving to my mother's doctor's appointment, but I'm glad I don't have her out in anything today. She's hard enough to stabilize, but in the wind, she would just about take off. Don't give her an umbrella. I'll see my mother flying by like Mary Poppins. Now, isn't it interesting how when I say like Mary Poppins, everyone knows what I mean? Maybe some of the very young ones don't, but they soon will. I mean very young children. But think of the day before we had that analogy. Before the stories and the movie and so on and so on. Now we can say it. And it's like an expansion. It's a description and a concept. It's all of those things into one that we picked up. And we don't have to explain it. We can just use it. And of course, I am sure that we've just lost, I'm sure, thousands and thousands over time, thousands and thousands of such allusions. And we will keep creating thousands and thousands more of them. It's part of the function or the way language functions. Okay, I'm going to turn this. Well, let's leave it like that. You know, last night I was looking up, I was so tired last night, I think the day before caught up with me, but at any rate, I was looking up the the standard categories of yarn based on weight, you know. And I think I might just have to use that. I'll see what weight yarn that I think it was called Dark Magic yarn was, and then I'll just find one, and maybe even preferably find a pure acrylic yarn rather than the woolen the wool mixture, the 50-50 acrylic and wool, that one was. I'll just find one of the same weight and we can go from there. I also found, and I'm excited to make this, maybe we should do this first. I love little boxes. Do you love boxes? In fact, I keep containers of all kinds, and I should just get rid of them. I mean, I get anything that looks like it's an interesting container, or that would be handy to put such and such in, and I have way too many such things. Boxes, cans, jars, actual containers, everything. Now that is a weird thing to do, I suppose, but I do tend to hold on to containers. And I would love to make these little trinket boxes that I saw. I think they would just be such nifty little gifts. You know, you could just have some on hand, and if somebody's a bit down, you give them a little trinket box full of chocolates, or chocolates are not on my whole foods plant-based diet, but not everybody's on that, so. Or any other kind of little trinket in it, you know, a little piece of jewelry that you've made, or even a nice little, on beautiful little paper, a little folded quotation that would fit in the box. Any number of things. Just a little trinket box, and I have found a lovely free pattern for it. So maybe we should do that first. Now, I don't remember what kind of yarn it called for. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I remember now. It was a DK, and that's what sent me to the standard standard categories of yarn by weight. This was a DK yarn. And now, I've never made a trinket box before. But I think this might be a lot of fun. And often it's said that you should use, and I'll have to check this out, but should use a cotton yarn in something like that really has to hold its shape and is quite small. So I have some cotton yarn around. Don't we all? We have everything in that treasure trove of leftover yarns, or yarns of things we were going to use for this or that, and then changed our mind and made something else, and never got around to it. Remember the days when there was a thing called around to it? Okay, going right along. So anyway, maybe we'll make the trinket box. But I find that, you know, the thing with language, it is just so fascinating. Language is so fascinating. It's so unifying and so separating. Both can be used both ways. And by and large now, even though it's so useful for us, and it's that with which we've kind of created our lives. You know, it's one of the things developed to the capacity that we have developed it. It's one of the things that is unique to the human race. Alpacas are supposed to have 16 different sounds that have meaning among themselves. Mind you, they've never given me a dictionary of their language. Some of it you can figure out. But there have been recorded and studied of them, regarding them, 16 different sounds they make, which create different behaviors. Now, everybody knows the alarm call, that they have an alarm call. One of them sees something that could be of danger, and they let out this call. And I remember the first time I heard it, I thought it was like geese flying overhead or something. It reminded me very much of a bird call. But no, it was the alpacas saying, "Listen up, everybody." And of course, you know, some of their gestures have meanings too. When they put their nose in the air at each other, they are having a little dispute. But there's a clicking sound they make, and they make it especially when they have their little ones. The mothers click to the crias. They go, and because they so love being mothers, they're so happy when they're new mothers that they will often click to you. It's like saying, "Oh, thank you, I am so happy. Oh, isn't this wonderful?" What else do they do? Oh, there's this screeching sound that almost sounds like a pig. When they get annoyed or they want to be dominant. And there's an orgling sound that's their mating sound. And on. 16 different meaningful sounds that through which alpacas communicate to each other and regarding the external world, and to oneself as well, or to, you know, their owners, to you, to their people, their persons, their caretakers. And I'm here at the end of this, finding my way into that stitch, and there we are. So I came in this morning from the feeding, and I felt hungry for some reason, so I went to get a snack, and I was so glad to discover that I had temporarily forgotten that last night I made extra baked potatoes. So I had some of my very favorite snack. I had like half a potato. Now, some of the Whole Foods plant-based doctors contend that the potato, whether a sweet potato or a white potato, has so much nutrient in it, you can just about live on them. Potato and a good green salad, and you've got just about everything you need. And have you ever just diced up a cooked potato, baked or boiled or roasted or whatever, and put it in your salad? Oh, I love that. I love that. And I often like to sprinkle just a few raisins into my salad. I like that little surprising hint of sweetness. Maybe we should take a day off of crocheting and just make salad dressings. There are so many of them, and I've tried so few of them, even though I've lived plant-based a good while. But somehow I've never gotten into this salad dressing habit. So maybe we should explore that. Oh, great! 2 new things to explore: the weight-based standards for yarn, and whole food plant-based salad dressings. Woohoo! Let me get some more yarn here. Using my trusty little rock to hold it. Nearly dropped that ply. And you know, having worked in this last couple of projects with a bulky yarn, it will take a little adjustment again to go back to a lighter weight yarn. But we will do it. Yes, that's looking pretty good and straight there. Okay. I always like to check on that. Dropped that ply, didn't I? So remember, the whole object of doing this is to do complete projects together. Doesn't mean you wouldn't have other crochet projects going on apart from when we sit and do something together. But this is to be a buddy system. Oh my, there goes that weather radio again. But it's just the test, so I'm going to let it go. Instead of going up to turn it off, it will turn itself off here in a little bit, in a minute. I might close the door though, so you don't have to listen to it that long. I will be right back. Let me just close the door. Okay. These are the normal daily things of life. I am not fond of that thing going off like this, but here we are again. But what do? I know they have to do it. I think it's the law they have to test it as a precaution. You see, those are sounds that go on in your house when you're not there. Like, how many times have I probably... Think in a year's time on how this thing goes off on Wednesdays at noon. So think of how many times you're out of the house or doing something else outside or away on vacation or whatever, and that thing goes off, just like it is right now. And you don't even think about it. At least I don't. So anyway, we were saying this is a crochet buddy system, and we'll see how we go with it. If you're a true crocheter, if you're hooked on crochet, as they say, you probably have 2 or 3 projects going at once. There, it went off. Now that took time. However, we have peace and quiet again. Okay. Maybe we better stop here I better stop here for the day. I just realized what time it is on the clock. We got a few rows made today, though. We got something done. And the whole object of this is just to get us a little centered. Well, there, I dropped the whole thing. How do you like that? Okay, here we go. All right, and I'm just going to pull this through, and we'll take it up from here when we meet again. And in the meantime, have a great day. Get some more crochet in if you can. See you tomorrow.